You're listening to the Platte River Bard.
Hello, and welcome to the Platte River Bard. This is Chris Berger.
And I'm Sherry Berger.
And we are here today at the Pace Center, the Hoff Center here, and we're actually in the Grant Good Art Gallery, which is really nice.
Fourth floor.
Yes, on the fourth floor. We are here with Doug Meigs. He is the president of OEAA. We are here. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
We're also here with Lynn Ahrends. She is one of the board members. Hello, Lori.
Hello.
And then we're also here. We got a bunch of people here today. We're here with Jedeka Poindexter. She is an OEAA board member and also a poet. Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. And virtually, we got a virtual person all the way from Arizona, Hughston Walkinshaw. He is a former board member, and he is the director of this year's award show.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us today here in the Art Gallery.
Yes, welcome. We're so excited to talk to you about this. And we know your award show is coming up next month, right?
February 16th.
February 16th.
16th of February, right after Valentine's Day.
So it's coming. And so we have kind of lots of questions for you about the OEAA, and we're so happy to be able to sit down and talk with you about it. Do you want to kind of explain what the OEAA does and how it came to be?
Sure. The Omaha Entertainment Arts Awards is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to celebrating and recognizing local arts in visual arts, performing arts, and music. And we're entering our 19th year this year with our award show on February 16th.
And so you are an established 501c3. And so what is your mission?
Well, our mission is to create a red carpet event, a star-studded night for recognizing and celebrating the local arts.
Wonderful. And yeah, you've been around for, 19 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And our mission there was celebrating and recognizing local arts through an event, an award show. But I really think what we do is a lot more than that. We do this one award show. We also do voting year-round. People can vote year-round. We do showcase events. We do various community engagement. But beyond the award show and then all these different engagement, part of what we do is a service to the arts community in helping to facilitate the public discourse in the arts and contributing to the public record in providing an archival service for throughout the year, recognizing what are some of the milestones in the arts community and being a place for that to be noted. And part of going back to the founding of the Omaha Entertainment Arts Awards, one of our founding directors, one of our founding board members is John Hughston, who was the publisher and editor of the Omaha Reader. John just recently passed in last year, and he had been on our board. He had been our longest serving board member, and he had left the board a little bit before his passing, but still, it's he helped to establish this organization kind of in tangent with some of his journalistic missions and journalistic services in the community with recognizing arts through the reader. And for our organization, we're not a journalism organization per se, but we do provide some of these sorts of services, like I said, about public arts discourse and archival services. And for me personally, that's how I got involved with the organization as a journalist.
Okay.
I also, if I can.
Please
yes,
do.
Absolutely.
I think there's something to be said for lots of times artists feel like they are more recognized once they leave the state of Nebraska than they are when they're living and working in our community. And this organization does a huge service in making sure that we're talking about and recognizing people who are living and working in our community and shining a light on the work that they do. And it's incredibly important to be able to sit in a room, have your peers support you and celebrate you, and also even if it's something a trophy that you can sit on your counter, recognizing that if this is home, we see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool.
So do you want to explain how the voting works for us? So that people...
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because not everybody knows, well, what's the deal with the voting? How does that happen? How does that
We
work?
have a year-round public voting period, and so we have this live now for the 20th OEAs. If you go to our website and you go to click on vote, you'll be taken to a page and a link for a SurveyMonkey form where you can submit your nominations in over 55 categories. So we've got public voting open now for next year. But right now, as we lead into February 16th with our 19th award show, we are kind of wrapping up the previous year's cycle. And so public voting is open from September 1st of every year until August 31st of the next year. So public voting for this year's award show, coming up on February, that public voting ended on August 31st. And then after the public nomination period ends, then it moves over to our review committees. And so we get a lot of data. So I don't have the number in front of me right now, but we had thousands of entries.
Nice.
And because it's a public forum, every spacing difference, spelling difference, comma, will create a different entry. So we have to clean up that data, and that's a pretty time-consuming task. We do that, and then after we've got the data cleaned up, we pass it along to the review committees who represent our academies. And so the review committees have several different individuals who are from the academies and help to review this cleaned up data and identify. We strive for roughly 8 nominees in each category. Sometimes we're a little bit more, sometimes we're less, but in the ballpark of 8 nominees in each category.
Okay.
And then once we have those 8 nominees confirmed, we'll do an announcement. Could be a press release. Sometimes we'll do nominee release events. We'll do sometimes showcase events. It depends on the year. And that will be in the fall. And after those nominees are announced, then we have our ballot that goes out to the academy members. And our academies, we have 3 different academies. These are the academies of visual arts, performing arts, and music. And these consist of journalists from the Omaha metro area, gallery owners, venue owners, people who are just deeply involved in the community. We keep this academy list confidential. This is something that we've discussed over the years. Should we open it up public? But the feedback we've received from members of the academies is they would like to remain confidential.
Fair
And
enough.
so we do
Yeah.
that, and then we have those ballots due in the winter. And we are just about to order our trophies now. So we're just kind of crunching the data, finalizing that information from the Academy votes, and we'll present those trophies at the award show.
Nice.
Yes, and I'd like to add something about the
Yeah,
academy.
Lori.
that
Yes, Lori.
Once I joined the OEAAs, which I've only been on the board for 4 or 5 years, I'm very impressed with the academy. And when I explain it to people, it's like, so if you're a theater person, you're on the academy for the things that you know and are experts in. So people that are comedians and really never see theater, they're not really voting for theater because the academy are experts of people. They can if they've seen things and that kind of thing. But what's nice is we have the experts who have really seen the things because they have the option to abstain. If you don't know what you're voting for, you don't vote for it, right? That's what we hope the academy does and polices themselves on.
Sure.
So what I think is very impressive about the academy, it's not just a popular vote. The first vote is popular vote, but then we have the academy who represent people who really know what they've seen and what's going on. And I think that's very impressive and unique to other awards systems that I've been a part of.
Interesting,
I've said
yes.
something.
Could I pause and just
fix me if I-
Yeah, no, and that's 100% true in regards to visual arts versus performing arts versus music.
Okay.
But with performing arts specifically, it is a unique academy in that comedians, we do have some comedians on the academy there, and same thing for poetry. So we have some poets on the academy there, and the academy ballot is, if you're in the academy for performing arts, then you can vote across those different categories. So like a slight nuance there, but in terms of music versus performing arts versus visual arts, then those are separate academies.
Those are separate academies. Okay, fair enough. Everybody kind of stays in their wheelhouse for the most part,
Truly.
where their expertise is.
But everyone who is nominated, someone from the academy has seen that production.
We hope so, but we have a public voting period. Anyone can,
Anyone
you
can nominate,
You can nominate your mom for every single category.
Sure.
And we have a lot of spam and things that's part of when we clean up the data, and then the review committee has to filter out some things and make sure that these are valid entries, they're eligible. So eligibility would include nominees are within 100 miles, they live within 100 miles of Omaha, they have performed work or exhibited work within the past year or within the period of eligibility of that September 1st to August 31st, and the review committee vets that. And then for the Academy voting, the review committee does their best to vet these the public nominations and take the top most popular votes and pass that along to the Academy, and then the Academy is then that final check. So if no one on the Academy has seen a particular nominee that we've done our best from the review committee and our processing to ensure this is a valid entry, it's eligible, we pass it to the Academy. If no one's seen it, it hasn't, they haven't, maybe no one has seen it, or after then checking with others in the community that this doesn't warrant their first, second, or third pick on our ballot, then it won't get their first, second, or third pick, and that is a check against that. Another thing in the Academy ballots, this is very technical now, but we do have ranked voting, and first, second, and third choices are given. And then we filter from there. Sometimes there's a tie, and exactly. There'll be a tie in first choice picks, and then we'll look to the second place picks from the Academy members on the ballot, and then to third.
And I would say, Sherry, that's a great question, because Julian and I, who are on the review committee for performing arts, we checked in the Academy, and if we've noticed people that haven't been to a lot of theater things or going to things, we messaged them privately and said, hey, we've noticed that you haven't been to things. Part of being on the Academy is that you are going to these things.
Yeah,
so
you have to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to do that every year, like really check and see,
Nice.
are the people that are the Academy, are they representing us in a valid way and seeing the things?
Very cool.
So,
Well, I'll tell you, every
That's
time I
helpful.
did a show, I always saw you in the audience. So,
Yeah.
and I know you were
It
there.
costs a lot of money, but we go to
I
3
know.
or 4 shows every month.
You
Yep.
and your friend,
We take it
you
very
and your
seriously.
choreographer friend, who
Yeah,
I
Julian Adair.
Thank you very much.
And she and I are on the
Excuse
directing
me.
team with Hughston. so,
cool.
yeah.
Yes, and I always saw you guys at every single performance, and I
Yeah.
knew that's why you were there.
Yeah.
Is you were there checking us out, and
Yeah,
so no,
yeah.
I can attest.
That's great, because we do meet people all the time when we're doing our podcast. They either have moved here from another area, or they're just getting into theater, and maybe they got a big role. Maybe they came from maybe music or some other area,
Yeah.
and they're just delving into the performing arts. And so this is good, because they may not have as many friends who would be willing to vote for them for the popularity piece of it, but they could be
Sure,
judged on their performance as a newbie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
our goal is, what's so great about the OEAs is the intermixing of music. And that's what I was on the tag board, and that was just theater. But what I love about the OEAs, I've fallen in love with it because of the intermixing and
Yeah.
the awareness that it's made for me of the music venues
Music
and
and the visual arts stuff.
arts and
Yeah.
the poetry. And so
That's really
our
cool.
goal is to try to get to some more of those things too, and see and support all of that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so just to add on that, for our nominee
Yeah.
announcement, like, you go through that list and you will learn about different artists and things in the performance arts community, visual arts, music, that you may not have heard of. People who are doing important things for the Omaha Metro, helping this to be a more vibrant, creative place to live. And yeah, you can learn about these other places that other individuals you may not have heard of. It's so easy to kind of get in a silo and in an echo chamber today with the way social media is.
Yep.
And that's, that's what we try to do over the course of the year with the nominee reveals, with the information we put out. But then for the event itself, like Lori Lynn has said, it's a really fun time. Come out. You will see these individuals who are doing great things in the arts. You will get to meet these visual artists, performing artists, musicians. They come out. It's a great time. It's a great time to meet and get to know these individuals, as well as learning about their work.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, Jedeka, you in the past, of course, you're on the board, and you were also a poet. But in the past, you have done poetry at the OEAAs.
I have, yes.
Now, we were talking a little bit before. You're taking the year off of doing poetry at there.
Oh, well, not necessarily the year off. They tried. The thing I will say is every year there's a different person, and I love that.
Yes.
To shine a light on poetic voices. But this year, I'm particularly excited because Nebraska has just crowned a new Nebraska state poet who has a 5-year tenure. And this year's state poet is Jewel Rogers, who is an amazing writer and community activist, and she will be the featured poet at this year's celebration.
That is excellent. Yes, brand new, brand spanking new. They
Yep.
just got announced.
Yep,
Yeah.
just got announced Monday, so we're really excited to see what her 5-year tenure will look like.
Oh, that'll be fantastic. Now,
And you work for the Nebraska Writers Collective.
I do. I'm co-executive director of the Nebraska Writers Collective and have been for about 2.5 years now. And we work using the spoken and written word to build communities. So we work in schools, libraries, places of incarceration, wherever people ask us to go, we go to make sure that we're talking about the written and spoken word.
that's interesting. So you guys are going to some of the correctional facilities and stuff like that. Isn't that interesting? Do you find you get a lot of traction at those kind of places? Interesting.
I can absolutely guarantee you, I truly love the written and spoken word. I do. And I've never been to a place where I was like, I would have rather not been there. I always hear something that is magical. Whether it's me working with elementary school students, working in the Nebraska State Penitentiary, working in a library in rural Nebraska, all of those spaces have the potential to have a voice that weaves into the larger fabric of how we sound as Nebraskans and how we catalog our stories.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really nice.
We
Now-
have another kind of special milestone this year with our Cultural Stewardship Award. If you'd like to mention
Sorry,
about that.
I'm going to be weird about
Go
this.
for it. We like weird.
Please.
Yes. Okay. So
Do
there's
it.
a Cultural Stewardship Award that is conferred on someone each year. This year, the Cultural Stewardship Award has been renamed for John Hughston, which is incredibly important because of his history with the OEAs, but also in Omaha's community at large. The winners of this year's award are Felicia. Let me get this right. She got married. Felicia Webster, now Casher, and Michelle Troxclair. For years, they ran an event called Verbal Gumbo. So they're being given the award for cultural stewardship for all the work they have done to build spaces and places for spoken word artists to thrive in Nebraska for the last 2-3 decades.
Wow. Congratulations.
It's amazing. I
Pleasure.
cannot wait to see them and actually hand them the award this year. They've
Yes.
done
Oh, that'll
so
be
much
awesome.
for so many of us.
Yes.
That'll be awesome. Now, when did you yourself get into poetry? Is this something you've been doing since you were a little kid, or did you get into it like in high school, college kind of thing?
I
or-
was raised by a book nerd, so it was always going to be.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
It was in me. And I started writing pretty young. I distinctly remember writing a poem for our yearbook in junior high.
Oh, man.
But I've been writing and performing pretty consistently since the late 90s, which is when I found my first poetry slam. And I came back to Omaha in 2004 and have been living and performing here ever since.
Wow.
So, poetry events, like
Yes.
poetry slams and stuff like that. Where do those still happen in Omaha and stuff like
Absolutely.
that? And when and what what kind of venues do you normally? Are there normal venues, like
Yes.
regular venues that you guys go to?
Absolutely. There are 2 standing poetry slams that my organization runs in Nebraska. One is in Omaha. The Omaha Poetry Slam is a partnership with a local arts organization called Local Art Plug. So we're at their gallery that's in the Flatiron Building on St. Mary Street.
Oh, okay.
That's actually tonight, which is...
Oh.
So it's the second Saturday of every month. On the second Thursday of every month in
Okay.
partnership with Lark Songwriters Place in Lincoln, which is a fabulous organization.
Nice.
We have a poetry slam there each month.
Okay, so
Wow.
Omaha and Lincoln, very cool.
Correct.
Very cool.
That's great.
Ooh, I like that. See, I haven't had a lot of experience with that.
Right.
Hardly any.
Right.
Absolutely come to the show. You'll hear our state poet. You'll get to hear from 2 amazing
she'll be
spoken
there?
word artists receiving an award.
cool.
It'll be a great night overall. And you'll get to see how we affirm each other in space. It is beautiful.
I'm a cheesy poet. I've written some songs, and they're
They're
Yeah.
the same as poets.
it's not quite the
The
same.
mark of a great poet is embracing the fact that they write terrible things sometimes.
Thanks. Yes, I do. And those are still on a pad in my desk, and no one will see them. Okay. Yes, sir.
So if I could add about that John Hughston Cultural Stewardship Award.
Yes.
I mean, this is one of 4 awards that are not determined by the public voting and nominee process. So these
Okay.
are 4 special awards that our board determines. And
Okay.
in the past, we had done just one Lifetime Achievement Award, and then over the years, we decided, well, there's so much stuff going on in Omaha, so many people deserving of Lifetime Achievement Awards. So then we started doing a visual arts, a performing arts, and a music Lifetime Achievement Award each year. And then actually,
idea.
John's sister, Rita, who's a former board member, had reached out to me. I think this was in going into our 2020 show, And the Reader had just had its 25th anniversary, was having their 25th anniversary, and she had said, well, is there something you can do to recognize John for everything he's done in the arts? And myself and others on the board, we'd say, absolutely, we need to. John was on the board at this time. We kept it confidential, and we surprised him with a Cultural Stewardship Award. So John Hughston was actually our first Cultural Stewardship Award winner. And now we're renaming it in his honor this year.
Yeah.
And then for the other Lifetime Achievement Award winners for this year, we've got for music the Goulizier brothers, one of whom had passed in recent years.
Okay.
That's for music. And then for performing arts, Dick Mueller with Firehouse Theater. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
recognizing Dick Mueller
Nice.
for performing arts, and the Firehouse Theater, which was such an important, pivotal venue for kind of laying the groundwork for Omaha's theater community today downtown.
Really did, yeah.
And just to plug, we did meet, and we did a podcast with him. So
Well,
check
Dick
out
Mueller?
that podcast.
Yes,
Maybe
Dick
I'll
Mueller.
put that
Yes,
in the
we
show
did.
notes.
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, great. And then for visual arts, Thurman Stratum is this year's honoree for Lifetime Achievement in Visual Arts.
Very cool. Very
Great.
cool. Now, you got a lot of stuff going on here,
Yeah.
and you need somebody to put this all together. And, Hughston, all the way in Arizona.
Houston's in Arizona.
This is in Arizona, and he is this year's director. Now, I'm assuming this is probably not the first time you've been the director.
No, it's not. It's actually a directing team. It's myself and Lynn and Julian Adair. And after the pandemic, the three of us sort of, inherited the role as a team. And so,
Okay.
it's three of us that pull it on together. But I can certainly tell you how some of the sausage is made, if that's what you'd like.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, I imagine there's a whole lot to coordinate. There's a ton of people. It's not like you just have like a cast of 6 people and that's all you have.
Right. Oh, no. It's amazing. And just listening to Doug explain just the nomination process, that in and of itself is very complicated.
Yeah.
And takes time. And then we really can't do anything with the show until the nominations are announced, or that we're aware of who the nominees are, because we like to include nominees within our guest performing, to have them on stage
Oh, okay.
to perform sometimes.
Sure.
So we have about Lynn, about a 3.5-4 month process once we really get into it. But
I would
what's
say
been cool.
we are
Yeah, go ahead.
we are thinking about next year already, just to give you an idea.
Right.
Oh, wow.
We're meeting with each other a lot in the summers, and it's
Yeah, there's a lot of prep work that goes into it, but then in the fall is when the nitty gritty we get down to it. But for
Okay.
instance, this year we're going to the Admiral Theater, and since the pandemic, we've had it at the Pace where you're recording this.
Yes.
And last year we did it at the Holland, and this year the board voted to do it at the Admiral, which is. I think really cool for the OEAs that we're roaming around the city at these
Yeah.
different venues that can accommodate, some of the requirements, like how many people will be showing up and that sort of thing. But
For sure.
And for
the
all
Admiral,
I just wanted to say, for all those old souls like myself, the Admiral used to be the Sokol, the old Sokol
That's right.
Hall.
that's right. And then and a lot of people grew up going to that place, and
Yeah.
it's incredible. And it's been completely not renovated, but redone on the inside. I mean, they've kept the historical aspects of it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I
And,
understand. Yeah.
Jim Johnson and 1% Productions, who run it now, really kept the historical architecture. The history of it is still vibrant in there, but the
Neat.
the main floor, it's the gym floor, but it's beautiful. It's just amazing. And going there, when we got to tour it, that's really where we start figuring out what the show can be. And so for the Admiral, it's an historic music venue this year, so that helps us say, okay, well, let's lean into the music aspect for our award show. But also the Admiral is now a comedy venue, so stand-up comedians are coming through.
Oh, okay.
And we thought, well, okay, let's lean into that as well. So with that in mind, the venue helps dictate what kind of show we're going to produce. And in this case, we're saying, okay, well, we've got a music venue, a comedy venue. Let's have a house band this time for the first time, and a comedy troupe host it.
Oh, neat.
And so,
That's great.
yeah. And we'll have a live announcer, announcer Steve, who's been with us now. This will be his third iteration, but this time you'll actually get to see him.
So
You'll get to see him. We're treating it kind of like if you could have an extended late night talk show with an intermission, but you have your house band, you have your hosts, you have your guest performers, and in the midst of all of that, we give away 63 awards.
nice. Who's the house band and who's the comedy troupe?
The comedy troupe is the Weisenheimers.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That's Steve.
And
Poindexter,
they're
isn't it?
5-time OEAA award winners
Yeah.
for Outstanding Comedy Troupe.
For sure.
But they ain't nominated this year, so we're going to have some fun with
Hey,
that.
cool. Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be good.
The house band, and this is the first time the award show has ever had a house band, but,
nice.
like I was saying, the venue kind of helps us figure out what kind of show to make.
Yeah.
The house band is called Parfait and Friends, and they're a local band. And
Cool.
Parfait itself is a 3-person band, but they're bringing in their friends, so they'll be around the whole evening.
Oh, nice.
That's great.
And then so that's kind of the nuts and bolts. We've got that part figured out. The other thing that is great about this kind of show is then the team sits down and says, okay, we know certain things have to happen in the show. We have to give away this many awards. We're going to do it in these kinds of what we call awards batches, and there are 4 of them.
Okay.
And outside of that, how can we entertain? Who can we bring on? And this is where then we go back to the board. So we say, okay, here's what we'd like to do. Musically, we'd like to have someone who's never played at the Admiral before, so let's use someone who's nominated for new artists in music. And that's what I go to the board to and say, Allie Peeler, who's really knows the music scene here, gives me these suggestions. We go through who's been nominated and helps us then connect with those people. Same way with Jedeka. We always want to have a performance poet included in these shows.
For sure.
That's where we get to turn to the board and say, Jedeka, who do you recommend? And boy, did she recommend a good one this year. Right in the midst of all of this, she was selected as Nebraska State Poet, and I was actually talking to Jewel on the phone because we were talking about what she wanted to write for the show and what kind of musical backup if she wants that sort of thing included, and just some of those things. And then she very humbly said, "Oh, in Hughston, can I tell you, the governor of Nebraska just called me, and I've been named the state poet of Nebraska."
Oh,
and I'm here in I'm here in Maricopa County outside, just like I am right now, and all of Maricopa County heard me go, "What the fuck?"
So you guys already had Jewel scheduled, and then she became the state poet. Oh, okay.
That's right.
I thought you
Isn't
had
that
to because she
amazing?
was. That's incredible.
No.
Yeah,
I know.
What a great pick.
I know. Thank you, Jedeka. That's all Jedeka right there. And so, but what was lovely is Jewel very humbly said, "Do you think that could be mentioned somehow during the show?" And I giggled so hard, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
You're gonna shout it from the rooftop. By the way, we got
That's
the
right.
state poet here.
That's right. So
that's
anyway, so I work with those elements of the show, with the poet and with the guest performers and with the
Cool.
house band, and kind of line up what they're going to perform and give them the parameters that we have. And then we have 2 guest bands coming for new artists, Carver Jones and the American Dreamers. It's going to be our one band. And then we'll have the Rex Granite Band with Sarah Beck is performing. And then, like I said, Jewel Rogers, our new state poet.
Yeah.
And then Wayne Hudson, who played Willy Wonka at the Roses production of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, will be performing for us as well.
Oh,
And don't forget at intermission who's going to. Are we going to have the polka?
At intermission, we're hoping, we haven't really secured this, I don't know if we can say it on the podcast, but we're hoping to play the polka key, or the polka. Doug, help me out, I've already
The Polka
forgotten
Police.
the name. The Polka
The Polka Police, and Jamie Burmeister, who is one half of the Polka Police, is actually a nominee in visual arts. He's also a visual artist.
Oh, cool.
But that's not live. That's that's house music.
Okay.
Not
So
from the stage.
that's a possibility that could happen. Okay.
That's great.
Yes, as house music. But on stage we'll have Parfait and Friends.
Yeah.
and the other people that I mentioned.
Yeah.
The one thing about the award show, and I was talking with Julian and Lori Lynn and the board about it, but that is so amazing about this event every year is that it is this reunion of artists that who have been busy throughout the year doing their own work in their own musicals or doing their own artwork, not seeing each other, and finally having this collection, this one night where everybody gets to hug and shout and scream and cry and just have that kind of artistic reunion is really profound. It actually gets me a little choked up talking about it. It's quite a profound event in that way.
That is really nice because I mean we've come across it, and I've noticed this several times. And having the podcast, I get the chance to go around and meet a lot of people and make friends with people, and I work with people and stuff like that, and it's great. But if you're working, man, you never get to see your friends in the arts, and that's one of the reasons why I love this podcast, because at least every now and again I get to talk to them, like this. But it's like we're always trying to see each other's shows, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, But so something like this where everybody's got the night off, everybody comes to the OEAAs and hang out. That is nice. That is nice because you'll see people probably that you haven't seen in a year, maybe. Because I mean, I've had years where I just go from thing to thing to thing to thing, and if you don't come see me at my thing, I may not be able to come see you at your thing, and
that's right.
We won't get to see each other.
That's right. That's exactly it, man. You nailed it. You really nailed it there. And the other element to the show that's always included is our in memoriam section, and that plays a huge part in this collection that evening of reunion and remembrance.
For sure.
Wonderful.
Sure. It's nice that you have that in memoriam too.
Yes.
For all of the local folks. That's a really nice thing that you guys do.
It really is. And yeah.
So now, as to the specifics,
The parking?
the specifics of the award show.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah,
Take it
that's-
away.
that's-
Take it away.
There's about 60 parking places at the Admiral, and we
Okay.
expect 600 plus.
I was gonna say,
So
you
that's
might
an
get more
issue.
than 60.
Right.
But Jim Johnson said that Victor over at Burger King and Julian and announcer Steve and I went around to all the neighbors that was like, they got a big
nice.
parking place. Let's see if they'll let us park there.
Okay.
So Victor at Burger King, which is just kitty corner, they have about another 40 slots.
Okay.
And then John at Chops Bowling, and his name's John, he owns all the lots, and he said we could use the north side of his, and then he owns the State Farm parking lot, which there's another 30, and then Maria's fruit stand, which has probably another 30 to 40. So there's quite a few around there.
Okay.
And Jim said people that go to the Admiral are pretty used to having to park on the street, but we really wanted to make an effort
Right.
to get some spots for people because it's February and it's cold.
Yes, no, that's very thoughtful.
We're
Yeah.
playing with a couple other things, but we're not ready to share that yet because it hasn't been confirmed.
Fair enough.
Of possible things to help people with that
Okay,
too.
so on the parking situation, keep checking the website.
Keep
Because
checking.
they'll update it as new information comes available, as new stuff comes to light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably the best place to check is the Facebook event we have. We've
Okay.
got a event page for the 19th OEA Award Show at the OEA Facebook page, and
Okay.
we'll be updating that. We also have. We'll post things online, but that I would say the Facebook event page is probably the best place to find
That's where
regular
you can get
updates.
tickets too.
Yeah, you can also find tickets on our website or on the Facebook event page also.
Okay, so Facebook event or website, either way, will get you tickets.
And I do have the OEAA awards linked on in our festival section of our website as well. So I've linked you to there as well. So you can
Cool.
always find it so many
That's
ways.
right, and that is February 16th. And what time does the event actually start?
The show starts at 6:30, but the Admiral itself will open up at 5:30.
Okay.
So the bars will be open. There'll be food to purchase, and a mingle, social hour, cocktail
Yeah.
hour.
So 5:30, yeah.
Yes, and the food is going to be inside, but we just found out at the board meeting that there's going to be a hot dog truck outside.
I don't
Right,
know if
for
that's
sure?
confirmed
Oh, darn.
yet,
I
but,
might have to cut
but
that.
there's someone on the board who had talked to someone who has a brand new hot dog cart that
cool
that
is
he's
that?
interested, and we just haven't confirmed. But that might be the food outside where you can then pick up your food and come on inside.
Oh, that'd be totally
Could be
cool.
fun, right?
I love me a hot
So
dog
there's,
cart.
there's a lot of balls in the air is what we're saying here.
That's okay.
And
I
it
think
takes
that's
all the board. I mean, it takes everybody's doing something.
So it's a big show. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of logistics, and for sure.
A lot of balls.
Yeah, and not only that, board members like Jedeka. Jedeka's not only, helping us find our poet, but she's working the night. She's going to hand out trophies to our lifetime and cultural winners.
I am going to be vanning it all night. Yes, I am.
Very nice. Yeah, and of course, now Doug has brought. I realize this is a podcast, but we will have this picture.
Yes,
up
we'll
on,
put this picture
up on Facebook, and Doug has brought one of the awards.
Thank you.
Yes, I know. You deserve it. And man, holy cow, this thing's heavy.
It is heavy. It's
And
glass.
I'm going to hold it because this will be the only time I will ever hold one of these. Yes, it's very true.
These are really special. The design here is really
are.
special.
Yeah.
Last year was the first time we worked with the hot shops to do the glass art here.
hot
So this
shop.
is a piece of art. It's
really is.
the hot shops worked with us on the design.
Oh, wow.
Matthew Schrader at the Crystal Forge, he came up with the final design, and then he creates these glass artworks for trophies. Then we work with Center Trophy, that's giving us a community discount on the plaque that we pair the two together, and then
Plaque
we
and the
present.
base. But you said Matthew Schrader was the one that
Matthew Schrader is the glass artist over there at Crystal Forge at the hot shops.
He's really nice, folks.
So it's got 3 little waves of color up the glass, and it's got yellow, black, and white, kind of wavy,
Yeah,
kind
really,
of
really nice.
interchanging to each other.
And really heavy.
there's
This thing's
some
like 5 pounds.
significance
Yeah,
there.
so these 3 colors, the kind of the gold, orangish, the white, and the black. These are the colors we usually use with the OEA branding. But the 3 different colors weaving there, kind of like a DNA double helix. It looks like inside this clear glass.
Yeah.
Or triple helix. So these colors then. Each strand represents one of the different academies, different genres. So performing arts, music, visual arts. And so these 3 are represented in each trophy.
That's wonderful.
Very cool.
It's
Thank you for
beautiful.
bringing that. And we will have a picture
Yeah, I'll get a good picture of it.
up on our Facebook so
There's
you
some
can
great
see
lighting in this
what
gallery.
the brand new award looks like.
Yes.
It's also very cool that in addition to nominating artists and visual artists, performing artists, or music artists throughout the night, that we're also partnering with artists to make sure that they're represented in the awards that we give out. That we're partnering with people who do textile arts for clothing the people who are potentially going to be on stage. So when we're doing this show, it's not just nominating people not just passing awards to people who are nominated, it's also partnering with local artists in our area to ensure they're parts of all things
That's really
that are
cool.
involved with the ceremony.
That's really cool, man.
I don't know how y'all do it. When we started this podcast, we kind of thought that we'd be able to talk to all genres of arts, and it has been performing arts keeps us so busy. We're now in year 6.
It's all we can do to just
And it's all we
kind of
can
keep
do
up
to
with
keep
that.
up. And we still can't talk to everybody.
No.
So I can't imagine putting your arms around all
Visual
of the
arts
aspects of
and
arts
music
in the community.
and oh god,
Yeah.
holy cow.
It's got to take.
I think that was
a
John
village.
Hughston's idea
Yeah.
Yeah.
originally.
It's to get everybody. Well, I'll tell you, and Lori Lynn brought up something about the sponsorship opportunities. For the OEAAs or what's that about? Tell me about that.
Yes, if anybody that's listening or
Yeah.
is interested in sponsoring the OEAs, because we are a nonprofit.
Yes,
and,
please.
And we're everybody on the board is working, non-paid board members, so
Absolutely.
we appreciate any monetary sponsorships. There's some things on the Facebook possibly that they can click on. There's also a whole pamphlet you can look at that's somewhere on the website. Doug might know more where that is, but there's different levels. And listen, we all know out there that every $25 even adds up. But
Oh,
if
yes.
if you have a friend or an uncle that happens to have a big business and is
Yes.
looking, big businesses need to give back to the community for their taxes.
Absolutely.
So they wait for people to ask for something that
Yes.
they can care about. So ask away, let us know. You can email, what should they
The
email?
OEA.awards@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then we can send over, please reach out to us. And we've updated the links on our website, and then in the blog post for the nominee announcement, there's, in addition to the huge list of all the nominees is here, there's a lot of other text, including a link to that sponsorship package. And relating to our sponsors, our organization really relies on community support and community buy-in. Our board is all artists, musicians. or individuals involved with the arts. For myself, I'm a journalist, but we rely on this community buy-in, and the event itself is not free, although we donate so much free labor
Right, yeah.
to this mission of celebrating, recognizing local arts. We have bills with the venue, and we pay the artists who are performing. We don't pay a lot, but we want to recognize and
Yeah.
compensate people for their work.
Yes, and thank you for that.
And then for our tickets, so like our tickets are sold. We offer a nominee discount. Anyone who's a nominee, we're working on getting an email blast out to all the nominees. But every year we have to put together a new email list for all the new nominees. But if you're a nominee and you don't have the nominee discount code, email us at oea.awards@gmail.com. We'll send you the discount code. And then we have our regular public price, general public. But even so, we price this as low as possible in order, because we don't want to put the cost on the nominees to come to the event. So we make it as cheap as possible.
Right.
And even with that pricing, we have over $5,000 of needed community support. We need over $5,000. It costs $20,000, over $20,000 to put on this event with even with so much donated volunteer labor. And we really need buy-in from the community. So sponsorship's much appreciated.
Yes.
And this helps us to finance an event that does cost money, even with all this free labor that we donate.
So
Very nice.
your general admission tickets are $42, and then the nominees can get it for $22.
That's very nice. So
And-
yes, if you're a nominee and you haven't gotten your email about your discount code,
Yeah.
reach out to them and make sure you get your discount code if you are a nominee.
And literally, I'm the easiest person in the world to find on Facebook. Everything in my life is unlocked. Just shoot me a DM.
She is an open book.
I got you.
And one thing we didn't talk about yet was your theme. Your theme this week is celebrating Omaha's imagination.
Ooh.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how you came up with your theme?
Yeah. How about this?
Can I answer that one?
Please do.
I wrote it down to make sure I didn't forget to bring that up, because this is sort of how the sausage gets made as well, and
Yeah.
how critical the board is. I just can't say enough about how amazing the board is as a resource and such. But in just talking about the show, this comes from Doug, and Doug came up with the idea of reaching out to see if Wayne Hudson would be interested in performing a song from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much of that, but it's
Yeah.
clear what the song would be.
Yes.
And anyway, we did that, and as Lori Lynn and Julie and I thought about it, Doug's suggestion, and we confirmed it, we said, well, that's the theme right there. We're celebrating Omaha's imagination.
For sure. Yeah.
And that happens every year. The theme kind of comes out of nowhere,
Just
but comes
organically,
from something
yeah.
very special. Yeah. And so that's it. We're celebrating Omaha's imagination.
I love it. I love it.
If I could add just briefly,
Please do.
Going back to our first year honoring John Hughston as renaming our Cultural Stewardship Award in John's name, this venue itself also, the Admiral, formerly Sokol Auditorium, the Sokol may not have continued to exist as we know it for the past few decades if it weren't for John's activism 20 years ago to help to kind of protest against rumors about a possible demolition. And there were concerns in the community that would Sokol Auditorium be torn down? John helped to organize people and get the word out, and that did not happen. 2 decades down, now it's under 1% Productions control, and it looks, as Hughston said, it looks amazing. It's beautiful. It's now the Admiral, but that venue may not even exist today if it weren't for John, our founding board member, and his imagination.
That's incredible.
That's wonderful.
That's incredible. That's almost like a full circle type of a moment with all this. That's really nice.
I'm sure he will be with you there in spirit then. That's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
We will. And I just want to say what this is all about is not only celebrating us, but the long-term goal of Now you know about the Admiral. Follow them on social media.
Yeah.
You've seen the Hoff. When we had it here at the Hoff, 60% of the people that came here had never been here because,
It's a great place.
it was
It's an amazing
new.
place.
It is. And so now people know about it. They might become members.
Yeah.
At the Admiral, now I'm following them. I'd never been there. And so now I'm
Right.
going to be watching that and maybe going to see some bands there or comedians. And so that's what this is all about. So I encourage you listeners, follow OEAA on Facebook, follow the Admiral, follow the Hoff, follow, anytime you come up with somebody, follow Jedeka, find out
Yeah.
where she's doing her
Yeah.
poetry,
Yes.
follow theater, follow the music. Let's go out and support the people and celebrate our imagination.
Yes, I love it. And we all found out during the pandemic just how important arts are in our life.
We really
Because
did.
We all went inward and found something creative within us.
Everybody really
and,
did.
And so many people turn to the arts first.
That's right.
Whatever
That's
form
right.
of
We
art
did,
that
yeah.
they're
It is a
connected
moving
to.
thing, like Hughston said. We get choked up different times when we're working together. We laugh a lot too, but especially when we're creating the in memoriam, we're crying when we're putting those pictures together. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And but just seeing the night come together and all the late night conversations we've had to have and the panic things that happen, and
Yeah.
you just relax and see it, and it is really an emotional event because it's very uniquely human to have creativity, and
It is.
and we
have
need to
have it.
celebrate that.
We have to have it, and it's all a form of storytelling in one way. Whether it's through visual arts, whether it's through music, whether it's through the performing arts, it's all, whether it's through poetry. It doesn't matter. Even stand-up comedians. It's all a type of storytelling because we love to tell stories to each other.
And what does that do? It
participate in.
connects us in our humanity.
It does.
And we're sharing our hearts together.
Absolutely.
And whether we're laughing, crying, jumping up and down, it's
Yes.
just really important to do
we
that.
and there's nothing more satisfying, I think, than, and it sounds so strange, but to get together in a big group of people and to watch something and to feel it all together at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's unique, and there's nothing else like it, and
Something we
it's something
couldn't
that we
replicate.
crave, and
Yeah.
we figured out in 2020.
Can't
I think it
replicate.
really pointed it out how much we need it and how much we missed it. And boy, did we kind of explode back onto the scene when they went, okay, coast is clear, let's go, and everybody went, yes, finally.
Yeah, it was a lot of work for our board to pivot to a digital format during the
Yeah.
pandemic, and it was I feel so proud, and the work we did was so important to continue recognizing the arts during that period.
Yes.
But one of the limitations of doing a digital only format during the pandemic is we didn't have people coming on stage to accept.
Mm-hmm.
And so to what you said about storytelling, that's one of the beautiful things about coming together in a venue. Not only are we naming the winners of these trophies, but they go up on stage and they're sharing some of their stories that,
Yeah.
aside from becoming aware of this individual, you get to hear from their voice about what their work from the past year means to them, what hardship and obstacles they overcame, and that can be really, really touching.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'd like to add on that,
Yeah.
lest we forget, this is an award show, so this is about the people who put out work this
Yes.
past year that we're celebrating. And we can fill it up with some wonderful, and we are surrounding the awards with wonderful performances, but at its heart, it's celebrating these individuals and groups who put their hearts and souls and their work out there for the public to see.
Absolutely.
And hearing their acceptance speeches are, some of the most profound moments of the evening.
Yes, and it's nice that you guys give them that moment. It's not just, okay, here's your thing, go sit down. They get to speak on the thing that they won, it for, and what it means to them, and just this whole area has such an incredible. I'm not from here. I'm from Kansas City, and I came here, and I was absolutely floored at the arts community in this area.
It
It's
is.
unbelievable.
So many talented people.
First of all, as someone who's been involved with this for a very long time, I was a nominee the very first year of the award, so I've literally been connected with this since the beginning. It's amazing that all the work that we're doing to include as many people as possible, having a wide net of people we're getting nominated, having a huge academy to vote for the people who would eventually receive the awards, and all of these other vendors that we're speaking with. I also want to talk about the idea that we're including everyone we can physically within the space. We've made sure that there are concessions in place, so if you have mobility concerns, that if you need a chair lift, there is that available. There is seating for people who may need to move in wheelchairs.
Nice.
There will be ASL interpreters who are there for the night of the show.
Cool.
So there should not, if there should not be barriers to accessing the celebration for any artist who wants to attend.
That is really nice to hear. ASL interpreters and
Great.
and wheelchair access, all that kind of thing. No problem. Excellent.
And you're still also projecting virtually as well, right? This year,
We have to work that out to be determined if we will do a live stream.
Okay.
Last year we did not do a live stream.
Yeah.
And we started doing live streams just before the pandemic, and then pivoted all the way to just virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And but last year we did not do it. We may not. It also depends on some of the technical constraints of the venue.
right?
Okay.
Wonderful.
Fair enough.
So watch that space.
Yes, indeed. And keep your eye out on the Facebook event page. That will have the most up-to-date information on everything that's going on with the venue, with the show, with tickets, everything. So keep on top of that on Facebook, on their Facebook event page for the OEAA Awards.
Did we get everything?
And keep celebrating our imagination.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
All right. Well, guys, thank
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
for
you.
having
Yeah,
us.
this
We
is
appreciate
great.
all you
Thank
do.
you, Hughston, for joining us all
Thank
the way
you
from
very
Arizona.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Jedeka. Thank you, Lori Lynn. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for meeting us here at the Hoff Center in this beautiful art gallery.
Yes. Thank you for all of your
We're
hard
surrounded by nominees here. I see Buck Christensen's photos over there.
Oh, my.
I see.
Talbert, yeah.
Yeah, Patty Talbot. We're surrounded by nominees for this year here in this space right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful up here. And
A shout out to Zach for letting us in today.
yes, indeed. Come visit the Hoff Center, man. All right, thank you guys so much, and break all the legs on this
Thank
year's
you.
awards. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The 19th Annual Omaha Entertainment and Arts Awards for 2025 will be held on Sunday, February 16th at the Admiral Theater at 2234 South 13th Street. Tickets can be purchased by going to their website at oea-awards.org. Nominees should contact OEAA from their website to receive their password for $20 off their tickets. Round up your friends to attend this memorable evening that honors the Omaha area artists who continually make our arts community so vibrant.
Thank you for listening and supporting the arts in the Platte River area and beyond. Please subscribe to our podcast so you are sure to catch all of our future episodes and join us on social media. See you next time on the Platte River Bard.